she is literally who I want to be when I grow up as a painter. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel La Fraise. I'm Noémie, and this week I would like to quickly share with you my favorite watercolor YouTube channels. I have been asked in the comments which YouTube channel I use to make all of the watercolors you see in the background of my videos, and actually I have quite a few I wanted to mention. So I'm going to get right in. I'm going to share my screen with you guys so you can see everything I want to show you here. So I think an amazing YouTube channel to start with, it's Jenna Rainey's channel, and she has this guide here. So it's 1 hour and 50 minutes. It's quite intense, but I feel like if you want basically the equivalent of going to an introductory course to watercolor and kind of understand all of the basics and everything you need to start with, this is a really great video. I really enjoyed watching Jenna when I was starting watercolor, and to start I thought this was really great. It really gives you an understanding of what's happening. She has a ton of tutorials like you can see here. And yeah, she has a lot of everything, and she is basically mostly only watercolor. So if you are wanting to get into watercolor, she's a great starting point. She also has, at least last year, she still had a PDF that you can download, and that also kind of has a summary of all of the basics you need to have. And I find that her first book is also a very good introduction to painting in watercolor if that's something you're interested into and if you like books. So Jenna is my first stop. Second stop is Hamad Art, and he has a little bit of everything. He has different mediums. So I generally, when I want a YouTube video from him, I search in YouTube Hamad Art and then I type watercolor, and that helps to filter out everything that is not watercolor from him. But I find that if you look at this is so pretty. His paintings are fairly easy. His tutorials are without any explanations, audio explanations, just written underneath. So it's very simplifying things down. And when I started to paint, I followed quite a few of his tutorials, and it really made me feel like I was capable of doing things, because it's super simplified and you have great results. Like, it's like maximum results for minimum effort. And starting with his tutorial, I felt like I was ready to conquer the world. After, when you try to move on to harder stuff, you realize that, yeah, making harder stuff is hard. But I find that his tutorial just give you a ton of confidence. Like, really, they're amazing. So I can't recommend him enough. If you look at his paintings, they just like have a great atmosphere. They're so dreamy. It's always landscape and everything. So that's easier to make than obviously if you want to do cities or people. But so a great YouTube channel to start with. I then want to mention Shada Campbell, and she also has a little bit of everything, but she has quite a nice amount of watercolor videos. And again, like, you can just go through her channel and see what type of tutorials you are into. But I find that she has a really nice personality. She's very attaching, she's very motivating, and I have enjoyed quite a few of her videos, especially the flower ones. And on her YouTube channel, a video I really enjoyed was the Blobcats video. I think it was absolutely delightful, and it really helped me to kind of like let loose and think about watercolor in a different way. I find that she has a ton of those more like doodle style paintings and stuff that's a little bit less structured, and I find that I go to Shada when I need something that's going to be a little bit more relaxing on my brain, give me confidence, remind me that I can be creative and that I can do this, and something more to reconnect with my creativity more than going like high skills level. Oh my god, she says her name at the start of every one of her videos and I can't say her name. Let's just say Emma. Emma, I'm really attached to her. She's such a lovely personality, and I truly like her flower tutorials. I have done so many of them, and yeah, I just come back to her over and over again. I find that she explains stuff in a way that really clicks for me, and you're going to see that it's also what you're going to have to do, is who explains things in a way that kind of like clicks with the way you think. And the way she does flowers, I find that it really made me level up. And I have done flowers tutorial with so many people, and when she explained it, it all went like boop, and it worked, and finally I could do nice flowers. So I truly love Emma. She's great. So another one to recommend. Now we are leveling up. And it's a weird one because Paul Clark, I do a lot of his videos, but he's absolutely not my style of watercolor. I actually really value Paul's work because He really explains things in a great way. He also have, and I think that's the selling point for me, on his website, he has all of the drawings of his watercolor. And so you can actually watercolor on the drawing and you don't have to be able to draw, because I'm really bad at drawing. And so for example here, if I had to draw the haunted house myself, it would be a very bad start. But here I can kind of like copy his drawing and then follow the tutorial. If you click here, you arrive directly on the YouTube video. And he has truly like, it's really the watercolor teacher like you would find in the like art school, like really great tips. It's not my type of watercolor. It's not the type of watercolor I want to be making, you know, as my art and the style I want as my style. But I do think that when I want to feel like I'm learning skills and I'm improving and I'm working hard, this is where I go, and I think he does it amazingly. So I also kind of want to give this as a tip, like even if you have a style that's your style, I think it is important to branch out and to go and try other things, because everything you're going to learn is going to build up on your skill and really improve what you can do. And then when you go back to your style, you're going to be so much better at it. So Paul, not my style, but I really value his channel. He has so many videos, they're so well done. It's like truly a pro, so I can't recommend him enough. We then have John Box, and actually John Box, I really like his cities tutorial. This is exactly the type of cityscapes I would like to be painting. A little bit more moody, a little bit more in the grays. I think if you search hard enough in my background, there's quite a few paintings that I made from his tutorials. So for the cityscapes, I always go to John, basically. Next, we have Caroline. I'm not going to try to pronounce her last name, I don't want to butcher it, but I really like her style. I will confess she's not my favorite in the tutorial style. Like I click a little bit less with the way she explains things, but I like her style very much. Like for example, this painting here with the cherry blossom, I find is absolutely stunning. And so I do like to go back to her tutorial to try to work on that part of my style and try to, copy her. You see what I mean? Like try to inspire myself from her tutorial to tend a little bit more towards that, because I think that's absolutely stunning and she does such a great job. So in the little aspiration category, we have Carolyn, and then we have Karen Rice Art, and she is literally who I want to be when I grow up as a painter. She has such an abstract, atmospheric, moody style. If you see here, this type of painting here, this is exactly what I want to be doing. Something that's, or even this, like, I don't know, she's just a little bit more loose. Oh here, ooh, a little bit more loose than some of the other artists I've been following, and I really click with their style. This is really something I like. Again, I don't love drawing and I don't like hyper realistic paintings because I'm so bad at them, and if I make people, they always look funny. So moving more in the abstract realm works best for me, but I think she does it so well. And when I try her tutorial, I realize how hard it is to do abstract, and you know, like abstract landscape, so you can still see the landscape, but it is a bit removed from reality. And honestly, it's so hard, but I hope to be her when I grow up, and I love so many of her tutorials. I have a little watercolor playlist of tutorials I want to get to one day, and so many are from her. So I absolutely love her. And I find it interesting because in the learning to do watercolor, she's definitely not the number one for me, because I think I needed all of the channels I mentioned before to kind of like learn the steps and get used to things. But in the ultimate what I want to become one day, this is this channel. And I want to quickly mention two channels in French in case you speak a little bit of French. And there's first Les Tribulations de Marie. Her tutorials are a little bit older, you need to scroll down a little bit to find them. And she has quite a few tutorials, but she also has actually paid courses, and I have bought a couple of her courses and really enjoyed them and really felt like they helped me level up. So sometimes buying for a course is also useful. I find that it's useful because the course builds up on itself and it's not random tutorials that kind of don't make you grow in a linear fashion, even though they're great as well. So I have bought tutorials from her. And finally, I want to mention Made by Kenny. Her tutorials are also a little bit older in her channel, so you need to scroll a little bit. But I have also done live classes with Kenny in Brussels, and she's absolutely lovely. So I also wanted to mention her if you are looking for tutorials in French. She has like ice cream. Here she has like Easter drawings, fruit and veg. I don't know, it's like really lovely little cards here, Valentine's card, this type of things. So if you speak French, I wanted to quickly sneak those two in as well. And in general, those are the 10 channels I wanted to mention. But what I also do is kind of follow my inspiration. So for example, if I want to do a lighthouse, I'm then going to look lighthouse watercolor tutorial and see what comes up. And that's also how I discover new channels. So I tend to go to the channels I know because I know it works well for me and I like going back to those. But sometimes I also go the other way around and think, what do I want to paint? And searched for that on YouTube, and that allows me to find new people. So that's also a great way to do things. And yeah, sometimes you just want to paint something very specific and you're like, I'm going to find someone who teaches me about this. And honestly, there are tutorials about everything on YouTube nowadays, so I'm sure you'll find something that clicks for you. And that's it, short and sweet, but I really wanted to be able to answer the question that had been asked to me in the comments, and I started typing and I was like, okay, I'm writing a whole essay, so I thought it'd be easier to make a quick video about it if you are interested in watercolor. If you also do watercolor and you have another YouTube channel that you are a massive fan of, let me know, because I'm always kind of like hunting for tutorials here and there. So please let me know if you have other channels you like. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Don't hesitate to like this video if you found it useful. Subscribe if you want to see me again in the future. I have a little video where I show all of my watercolor materials, so I will put it in the description down below. And I also have a tutorial to make a paintbrush wrap that I will also put in the description below if you want to go and check out those watercolor / sewing related videos. And don't forget that you can make anything, even if it's by painting it. See you in the next one. Bye!